This is the new iPhone 16e. It's priced starting at 60,000 rupees in India, and it's supposed to be Apple's affordable option for us. Now, a lot of people were disappointed when Apple announced its pricing strategy because, of course, we were hoping for more affordable options. Now, Apple has a history of disappointing people who are looking for a truly affordable iPhone, and I've got 3 examples of that with me right here. From my own personal archives, this is the iPhone 5C, the original iPhone SE, and the iPhone XR. Here's a brief history of Apple's attempts to capture the low end of the market and how each of these phones was received. This is the iPhone 5C. It was launched in September 2013, and a lot of people instantly didn't like it because they were expecting the iPhone 5 to go on sale at a lower price, but Apple discontinued it and launched this instead. Now, this phone came out at the same price, but instead of a metal body, it was polycarbonate. This was also the first time Apple experimented with colors. The 5C was available in 5 bright shades. Now, I personally really liked using this phone. I think it's one of the most comfortable designs Apple has ever come up with. However, because this body was polycarbonate, a lot of people didn't like it and they thought it was cheap. In fact, the reception to this phone was so bad that Apple stopped doing colorful models for a while, and this was the last ever polycarbonate iPhone. It was powerful enough for its time, and the 4-inch screen was actually larger than the lower cost 4S and 4, which were on sale at around the same time. In India, the main problem with it was price. The iPhone 5C was launched in 16GB and 32GB models, and Apple took the unusual step of launching an 8GB version mid-life. Now, there was so little space available on this phone that it almost felt like e-waste. You could barely install any apps or get anything done with it. And this was long before streaming music, so people who liked carrying a collection of songs with them also felt disappointed. The 5C was also the last model that didn't have a fingerprint sensor or Touch ID, which was pretty frustrating in real-world use. Next up, we have the original iPhone SE. This one was launched in March 2016. It first came in 16GB and 64GB options, and those were replaced by 32 and 128GB options at the same price, which were actually pretty good value because this stayed on the market for quite a while. Now, Apple reused the body of the iPhone 5S with just a few minor cosmetic changes. As you can see, it does have the Touch ID sensor, and this was also one of the last phones on the market with a 3.5mm headphone jack. It had a relatively powerful processor and a decent camera for its time, but this body was already showing its age, and the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus had launched by this point with much larger screens. This was actually a really popular model. It didn't have many compromises, and it was available for quite a while at a very good price. However, it did eventually begin showing its age, and subsequent iPhone SE models took on the iPhone 6 type body with a larger screen. Now, this is the iPhone XR. It marked a return to color for Apple. It was available in 5 body colors, but metal and glass, not polycarbonate. That might have contributed to its success because every mainstream iPhone released since then has been available in multiple colors. It was launched alongside the iPhone XS and XS Max, which had crisper screens but the same processor. People were also disappointed because it only has a single rear camera. However, it is still powerful enough to suffice for plenty of people today, and it even still receives the latest iOS updates. As a bonus, this was one of the first iPhone models to be made in India. And so we come to the brand new iPhone 16e. Now, this model features Apple's latest A18 SoC and supports Apple Intelligence, which might be big selling points, but it's also still limited to a single rear camera. It does cost a lot more than all these other models, but we do have to factor in recent changes to India's currency exchange rate. Now, we might or might not agree with Apple's approach, but our full review is coming up soon, so make sure you check that out to see what all the pros and cons of this phone are. Will it be my next low-cost Apple phone? And will it join my collection? Stay tuned to find out.